replay. See if that's true. I don't think it is. This really is broken now.
Good evening, everybody. It is 6:30, according to the clock on the wall. And as this year, at the current moment, we have no president or vice president. As the 2023 secretary, I will call this meeting to order. First thing I would like to do is welcome Jason Atwood on the end. He is our newest member of the Plan Commission. And I would like to call for a motion to reorganize.
I'll reorganize. I'll nominate Josh for president, JD for vice president, and Tammy for the secretary.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome to the presidency, Josh. This is your meeting now.
All right. Has anybody had a chance to read the previous minutes? Are there any questions, concerns? I take a motion to accept the December 14th minutes as written.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
I plan to abstain since I was not a member of that.
Okay. If there's anybody from the public that would like to speak tonight, there is a sign-in sheet up there. If you could sign in and come up here and state your name and your address when it comes time. So we're here tonight for 24-128 secondary plat at Packmore Boulevard and State Road 67. Gilman?
Thank you, board members. For the record, my name is David Gilman. My address is 211 South Ritter Avenue, Suite H, Indianapolis 46219. I represent Commercial Team Construction, or CTC. We have a 46-acre industrial planned unit development, which is located on the east side of State Road 67 at the north end of Packmore Boulevard and adjacent to the Packmore business facility. I've given you a handout and also a new plat map. So on the second page after my title page in the handout, you'll just see where the subject property is for some of the new members that may or may not have not participated in some of the prior hearings. But it's a 46-acre undeveloped piece of property just south of the Morningside subdivision, to our north, Packmore, to the south, railroad tracks to the east. The next page shows that our property is zoned PUD-industrial. That zoning took place in 1999. If you go to my next page of my handout, you'll see the overall plat that was approved in 1999. In case you need to see what it looks like, it's this page. We have a larger one, but I'll highlight some of the important components of what was approved in 99. Along the north side, because this property is to be developed industrial and Morningside is a residential subdivision, it was negotiated and agreed to by the Plan Commission, the Town Council, the neighbors, and the developer to install a 100-foot setback buffer area. And within that 100-foot setback buffer area along the entire north side are to be, there's a 10-foot earth mound. On top of the 10-foot earth mound are 206-foot pine trees at planting. In the middle of the page, there are 9 uses that were prohibited. Those uses are slaughterhouses, propane storage, very high intense industrial uses. Then there were some drainage comments, and then there were some comments about the fire department. You go to my next page, and it says the 99 industrial commitments. So again, the 100-foot buffer, the earth mound, access to Rainbow Lane was prohibited. Area lighting shall be fully shielded so that no spillover lighting goes on to any adjacent property. The neighbors are to be notified by certified mail each and every time there's action before the Plan Commission. And I'll get to the number of times and what's been approved thus far. Again, the 9 prohibited uses, the drainage notes, sewer and water per the Mooresville Fire Department, access to Packmore Boulevard, and then there's a 60-foot building line that was required along 67. So the next page is a colored plat. This was the original concept plan and preliminary plat that was approved. We have 5 lots.
Sorry.
Okay. We have 5 lots on the west side of the new Packmore Boulevard extension in green, and we have 3 on the east side of Packmore Boulevard, which is the tan, the gray, and the blue. The next page is the replat that we're asking for this evening. So we still have 5 lots on the west side and 3 lots on the east side. We've just adjusted the lot lines on the east side because one of our users has been re-identified. So we still have 9 total lots. Lot 9 is platted as the detention basin, so there will only be 8 buildable lots within this development as it's being platted and presented to you this evening. Part of the reason we are coming back is if you go to my very last page of my handout, it says process and procedures for approval. We went to the Planning Commission with the initial concept plan back February of 2023. That concept plan was approved. We then returned to the Plan Commission April 13th to have the preliminary plat approved. That was approved by the Planning Commission. We then presented our final site plan and construction plan for the entire development and was approved August 10th by the Plan Commission. On November 9th, we submitted a Phase 1 final detailed construction plan for the E-Tank 14-acre parcel, and then 2 of the first buildings that CTC would construct on the west side, or the first 2 lots within Phase 1. We were approached by Hoosier Energy earlier in the year, and actually probably late last year, after we were all approved. Hoosier Energy identified our southern east corner as a prime location for them to relocate their transfer station, their substation, or called a switch station. We had a couple of choices. One, we could have resisted, and they could have gone through the eminent domain process because they are a public utility, and they could have taken the property from us. That would have cost us time and probably cost a lot of unnecessary money. So they were able to negotiate a fair selling price for the property, and that basically saved everybody time. We have another agreement with the Redevelopment Commission here in town where we are managing the construction of a road for this development. It's a 1,200-foot extension of Packmore Boulevard. We expect the management contract, which we were awarded the bid, CTC was awarded the bid to make sure that road was built and dedicated back to the town. We hope to start that process in June. So we really were under a little bit of time logistics to continue our commitments to the town to have our first 2 buildings constructed and a 3rd building constructed in the year 2024. That's an agreement we made with them because they are looking to recoup some of that investment by having added assessed value on those 46 acres. So we have a very strict plan of a 24 build, a 25 build, and a 26 build. We are asking that the Plan Commission tonight just do one thing. Allow us to make some lot line adjustments so that Hoosier Energy will be able to close their 8 acres because they obviously have some commitments within their business to adhere to, make the adjustments in the lot line so that we could have a recorded plat and transfer them title to Lot 1, with the understanding that that's all that you're approving, is we're just asking you to reconfigure lot lines tonight, nothing more. E-Tank will most likely be relocated to the northeast corner on Lot 7. We have work that we need to do. We have some construction drawings for drainage we want to make sure we have finalized. We want to revisit our wellhead protection plan with our environmentalist. And we just need a new detailed site plan to present to the TAC committee. We are not asking for you to approve any development tonight whatsoever. We're only asking you just to help us adjust the lot lines so that Hoosier Energy can close. And then in May, I'm targeting May, I will be back to present E-Tank's proposal, new proposal to be relocated to Lot 7. And then Hoosier Energy will likely represent themselves, or I may represent them probably in May or June. And they will show you what they propose to do on the southeast corner with their new switch station. With that, I think I will open myself up for questions that the board members would have of me or members of the audience. Thank you.
I'll take any questions. Does any members have any questions or concerns?
Yes, I noticed Lot 9 where that detention basin's going is smaller than it was on the original plat. Can you tell me who's going to have ownership and maintenance responsibility for that?
Yes, excellent question. So Lot 9 will be owned by the association, which will be all lot owners within the 46 acres have to be a member. So they will collectively have responsibilities for maintenance of Lot 9 unless they have their own detention pond on their own property. And that's why it's smaller, because Lot 7, the way the watershed is and the way the contours are, it'll have its own private pond. And that pond will then drain into this pond before it gets into White Lick Creek. So, but that's why it's smaller, is that we just took one long pond during the preliminary phase and thought it's best to have these ponds serve their individual parcels.
On Lot 7, how many acres is that?
I believe it's 14.41. So Hoosier Energy needed 8 acres in the southeast, so we just took the residual of what was 15 acres in the southeast and divided it and pushed it up north.
Any other questions, concerns?
Nope.
At this time, I'll take anybody from the public that would like to speak. Just come on up here and.
Is this a public comment?
Yes. Yep. Sorry, Jeff.
My name's Jeff Lovelace, and I'm here as one of the property owners of Woodside Acres. And we've got 6 different property owners that are here tonight. And we have some concerns. Basically, like you guys, we got our certified letter back at the end of February. And at that time, my wife had texted some questions to David, and one of them was, she said, I see where Lot 1 has been changed to Hoosier Energy. Where will E-Tank be now? And this was March 1st. And he wrote back on March 1st that he was going to be giving a revised overall plat at the March Planning Commission, which is obviously tonight. And he said this is to accumulate Hoosier Energy, and he said he'd have more information on E-Tank later this month for the April hearing. And he said he'd keep us informed. So yesterday at 5:05, we got another text from David, and he told us about Lot 1 being for Duke Energy, and now Lot 7 and 9 being combined for E-Tank. So we've had very little preparation for this. 25 hours. We're not opposed, and I'm speaking for my group here, we haven't really had a chance to meet. We're not opposed to anything with the substation for Duke Energy. But originally, E-Tank was supposed to be in the southeast corner of this. And so that's roughly maybe a quarter of a mile, half a mile away from the property owners. But now we found out that now it's going to be moved up to the northeast corner, right behind the properties. And I know there's going to be a buffer mound and there's going to be trees on there, but it is right there. We've expressed in the different meetings all year long 2 major concerns. One is the use of toxic chemicals and that are going to be there. And the other is that this is going to be a 24-hour operation with trucks coming in at different times of night. And now it's just right there in these people's backyard. So as you're taking steps tonight to work on the situation with Duke Energy, you also need to keep in mind that I think our neighborhood is going to be very opposed to moving E-Tank from the southeast corner to the northeast corner. I think these people would tell you they're not really fired up about E-Tank being there because of the toxic chemicals. But now with the switch, they're really opposed. My wife gave everybody a sheet that we handed out to our neighbors starting at about 9:30 or 10 o'clock this morning because this wasn't in any of the certified mails that we've got. At the top of the sheet in red, one of the things we found out as we went around is that a lot of our neighbors did not get certified mail. Matter of fact, one of the neighbors didn't get it, knew of another neighbor who did, and they asked the postal lady, why didn't we get these certified letters? And she said, that's kind of strange because the whole neighborhood's always gotten certified letters, but not everybody has with this one. And if I can just do a quick show of hands, how many of you didn't get a letter? Yeah, so 3 out of our 6 here. So for some reason, these people didn't get connected. So we're really concerned about that. So anyway, moving down, I've got a list of questions, and one question Mr. Gilman answered, and that was number 3 about the detention pond. If you want to put an X next to that one, that's no longer a concern because he answered that question already. The first one we've got, though, down here is Lot 7 still within the wellhead protection plan? We want to make sure that all 66 or whatever it is acres are in that plan, especially since there's going to be toxic chemicals. And so I don't know if just moving north, if it matters, but we want to make sure that, especially since that is closer to the property owners, that it's all within the wellhead protection plan. And, if we can get that from writing either from, I don't know, Hill Water or the Department of Natural Resources, whoever has that, we need to know that because, of course, everybody in our neighborhood is not on city water. They are on well water.
And we're not interested in being on city water.
Yeah. So if we have a problem, we don't have access to clean water, and that is a huge concern for us. The second one, we'd like to have somebody from Hill Water come to these meetings and talk about the wellhead protection plan. I want to ask a question of the board. how many of you have met with anybody from Hoosier, or from Hill Water about this?
Just to give you kind of an overview, we have what we call a technical review committee, and they meet with the building inspector, members of the plan commission, the applicant. People that are invited to this meeting are Hill Water, our police, our fire, if they are not represented by Mr. Robinson right here, Indiana American, if it's in their territory. So Hill Water has been at these technical review committee meetings. If they have presented concerns, and to my knowledge, they haven't because I passed them out. If they have concerns of the wellhead protection project, where the water's coming from, where, I mean, as far as where a hydrant needs to go, they sign off on that. Anything this big that involves water, sewer, electric, anything like that, they are a part of and invited to those technical review meetings.
And we were told, my wife and I, that somebody from our neighborhood would be invited as well. We were told that last spring at the first meeting. We've never been invited. So our neighborhood has totally been left out of this process. And going forward, I mean, hey, if everything's good with Hill Water Company, because they are a major factor, this is their business. This
Well,
is,
excuse me, who invited you to the meeting?
well, Mr. Gilman, for one, we talked about it on a
Because it's
couple
not an
of
open forum for the tech review.
Well, I didn't know that, but I was invited to something, and like I say, we've never been able to talk to Hill Water. So, you know, we have a real concern with this because we want clean water, and we want to make sure everything is above board and we know what we're getting into. So maybe it's not an open meeting, but it should be, because all these people, they need clean water. So, okay, the third one we marked off. Fourth one, moving E-tank to lot 7 puts them within, the buffer's 100 feet, mounded trees, but it puts them within 100 feet of the houses that have wells, and we're worried about the contamination. We're also worried about this being a 24-hour facility. I know at an earlier meeting this passed, but it was like, okay, at an earlier meeting, this was in the southeast corner, many, you know, like I say, a quarter of a mile away. Now, the factor of it being a 24-hour facility, the light, the noise, it's in these people's backyard. So that's a different thing. And number 5, I know nothing about energy substations, but maybe a solution. Would it be safer and quieter to have Hoosier Energy substation on this lot 7? I know they only need 8 acres, but if they're redefining the plots, maybe they would be a better neighbor to the residents. Again, I know nothing about the safety and of a substation.
I don't think as a plan commission, we can ask a utility company where they would like to put their things. I think they come in and tell us where they're going to put them.
Well, again, that's fine, but realize that if they take the lot that was going to be for E-tank, and now we're moving E-tank, we've got, you know, then you've got an E-tank problem with our residents. And, you know, so I don't know the reason they picked lot 1. I don't know if lot 7's an option for them, but it would be something worth exploring. And then the last one, we believe that the commission should give this a lot further thought. Maybe this is the night to rubber stamp this. Yeah, like I say, we got this message at 5:05 yesterday. My wife and I started writing the letter, and we got up and distributed it to our neighbors. Of course, a lot of our neighbors weren't around at 9:30. They were at work. And, But this is really short notice, and this to us is really a major change. Again, no problem with the substation, but having E-Tank moving this close to the neighborhood, that is a major problem. And, we got six property owners here tonight, but as these other property owners, as we get the chance to review and discuss this, I think there's going to be a lot of people wanting more input into the future. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I say, you guys okayed the southeast corner at an earlier meeting. It was far away from us, so it's like, okay, we weren't excited about it, but now that the possibility is it's moving and being a neighbor to property owners who are worried not only about their water quality, but also about their property values. There's a lot that needs to be studied before this is okayed. So, any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have to try to make something clear. This is a PUD, so we're not approving where anybody's going to be. We're just amending a plat. That's it.
Well, and I understand that, and I know we've talked about these as April, May, and June meetings. I'm going to give you a heads up about the concerns. I don't want somebody coming back saying, well, gee, if this is a problem, why didn't you tell us in March? We're telling you in March it's a problem. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that we're going to show up at these other meetings and we have some major concerns about this. So.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
I didn't really sign up for it, but I signed up on the sheet. I just want to introduce myself.
If you can come up here and tell your name and your address or.
Okay, my name is Brian Reed. I'm the new owner of myhometownin.com in Mooresville, Indiana. And just want to introduce myself, say hello. And we've remodeled the hotel. And I know that before the hotel had a really bad reputation with halfway house and prostitution. So it's completely cleaned up now. We'd be happy if you guys wanted to come around and visit and stuff like that. We just want to say hello. That's it.
Thank you.
My name is Jeremiah Stump. I live at 2777 East Roadway Drive here in Mooresville. Basically, I'm just going to add to what the neighbor said. And I will at least say my background's in construction. I was a civil engineer for the state of Indiana, and I work with a commercial general contractor now and have for 10 years. So a lot of times we see a lot of these switches, which is why I think my neighbor brought up the whole plot thing. Just once you guys designate them, it makes it harder to change that back. But I guess the only thing I would add is, like, seriously consider if you were somebody that lived along this proposed development and you had a well and you had children, and you had family and stuff, seriously consider yourselves in that position and how you would think about it, So like our neighbor said, we're not asking them to totally go away, but this is kind of a big change. And I would be more curious to know where E-Tank is out of and just some more details on where they're located, based out of, and some more details on them. So that's really all I think. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Mr. Gilman, would you like to come up and answer some of the public's concerns?
Yes, absolutely. And I do appreciate the neighbors and their activity and participation throughout. We've been doing this for over 7 months. We've talked endlessly about the development E-Tank, the 99 commitments that need to be honored, and we've done that every step of the way through this process. And I've been as transparent as I can And there are certain things that I can disclose and certain times that I can disclose it, and there are other times I just can't right away. But the moment I was able to disclose that E-Tank would be interested and would be relocating to the Northeast, I let Mary and her husband know because they've been neighborhood advocates. And I did make it clear that tonight I would not be discussing E-Tank's development, that would come later. But I do want to answer some of the questions because I know there are things that need to be cleared up. People keep saying E-Tank uses toxic materials. E-Tank is a rental business. They rent equipment for cleanup. It could be any type of cleanup. But everybody, for some reason, just gets asphyxiated that they're going to bring in a bunch of contaminated toxins and dump them in the ground and pollute people's wells. They're a rental company. And we're going to go through that again in great detail when they come back, because I see new board members and I see new members in the audience that we haven't seen before, and I think we owe everybody a refresher on how E-Tank operates. But they do not have toxic chemicals. 24 hours a day. There is no restriction on any of our businesses on this 46 acres that doesn't have the opportunity to operate 3 chefs 24 hours a day. Now, if there were a fleet terminal in that northeast corner with 30 or 40 docks that trucks could back up to and do distribution and load and unload at any time of the day, they could. And I think that would be more noisy than the use that's proposed there now. But there's no restriction. We can do 24-hour services on this property. We submitted a wellhead protection plan, and to answer their question, the entire 46 acres is in wellhead 1. So when Hill Water drilled their 5 new wells in the southeast corner of this property, just at the other side of the railroad track, they did a new delineation, and our entire 46 acres fall within what they call wellhead protection area 1. And they went to IDEM, they got that new delineation approved. Their wellhead protection guidelines have not changed, it's just a new map that was included to redefine the area that would be in wellhead 1 and or wellhead 5. We submitted a wellhead protection plan to Hill. We met all their guidelines. We didn't do this on our own. We hired environmental specialists. We've made that report available to the neighbors. We will have our consultants recertify that plan for each and every lot that's built in this property to make sure that it adheres to their guidelines and that protection plan. We'll revisit E-Tank with the plan that they already had approved on Lot 1 to a new plan for Lot 7. There may be other recommendations that may come about. We don't know yet. But we will when we present their development in May. I apologize for the 3 people that did not receive certified mail. This is the 7th round of certified mails that I've sent. I've just heard this tonight. I'm going to verify why they did not receive their certified letters, but I do know that I send right at 40 each month. Unless they're new owners and I'm sending it to an address that may or may not be to their home, but I will verify that because I want to make sure that I comply with that. But the fact that they're here, I'm glad that they're here at this hearing as if notice had been served to them. The reason Hoosier Energy decided to go on Lot 1 is they already have a main conduit along our south line. And they're going to take advantage of that and just extend that main line. So that's where logistically that southeast corner was already set up where they already have their existing transmission lines. But they can speak more to that when they do their presentation. That's really, I think I've touched base on everything. Again, we're not asking you to approve or reapprove E-Tank on Lot 7. We're only asking you to reestablish lot lines. We'll come back, we'll get into the details that the remonstrators or the neighbors have brought to your attention. We've addressed them, we think, before, but we're going to reconfirm that everybody understands, new members, new neighbors fully understand what E-Tank does, what Hoosier Energy does, and allow us to move forward so we can fulfill our commitments to the other part of the town with the redevelopment commission and begin construction on the extension of Packmore Drive. Thank you.
Just to clarify again, that we're just approving or disapproving the adjustment of the lot lines. We're not approving where E-Tank will be going. You know, that'll come at a later meeting. So we will take your comments and, you know, and concerns. With that, do I have any other questions from the board? Any concerns, questions?
Nope.
With that said, I'll either take motion to approve or disapprove to allow to adjust the lot lines as presented.
Based on the fact that they have to come back before us before they do anything after the lot lines change, and make a motion that we approve this evening.
I have a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Not opposed. So motion carries. Did you say the next meeting will be, or you're thinking maybe May?
It'll be May, because I have to get back in front of the TAC with some more information.
Okay.
So I'll let everybody know that officially I'll send out the notice, but right now it's looking like May will be the earliest meeting I'll be back.
Do we have any new or unfinished business? Anybody?
No.
Motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
wait.
I was wondering if we can get an address of where you think it's located now.
Have you Googled it or anything?
I have, I just want to confirm it. We don't still have it in this guy.
Yeah, we can't give them that. We can-
Do we have any permits or inspections, Tim?
29 permits and 91 inspections.
Well, nobody else? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.